Just a legend in the making. The one that didn't quit and tried to get all that been taken. Just an artist with a gift that's been living in the present. I've been living in this hell and trying to find my way to heaven. I'm just my pop's greatest creation. Just watching for the snake.
What is up, Yankees universe? What is up, Yankee fans? KOD Nation, stand up. And all you Degens, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to this Thursday. Hold on, let me try to focus my camera. January 15th edition of the Yankees Morning Brew. I am your host, Hector. Let me shout out the chat while I have a second. My man Ruben is in the building. Ruben, what it do? Tyler Tabbitt is in the building. Salute, salute, salute. And of course, TC Stills. What it do, baby? Hope all is well, everybody. Hope all is well. Not sure why my camera isn't focusing right now. Let's try to. There we go. Gotta get the 4K view. Gotta get the 4K view. Bradley, what it do, baby? Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. Hope all is well. Yankee fans, first of all, I want to give a quick shout out to a few of the people that commented on the last video, right? I'm going to just pull it up for a second. You know, Maria, Happy New Year. Hope all is well. The Big Japple, I appreciate the Big Japple. This is what the Big Japple said, right? He said, I don't buy for a second that Hicks would be the starting left fielder coming opening day. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and the collective doom and gloom isn't going to help the situation. The Sabian and Manaya additions do indeed show me a sense of urgency, so I'm going to go under the belief that those two are working diligently to make the necessary upgrades. You know what, Japple? I appreciate that comment, and 100%, bro. I am 100% behind you when you said that, because when it comes to this front office, right, when it comes to this team, I do not think that what we're seeing right now is a finished product, right? It is January 12th. And for my Yankee fandom, I'm putting my faith in the front office. I'm putting my faith in Brian Cashman, the guys that they just hired when it comes to Manaya and Sabian. So Jappo, salute to you, my guy, for putting that in the chat. But let me know what you guys think as well. I see my man T-Ed still says, Hicks, please turn in your jersey, sir. 100%. Somebody said Hicks is the new Bubba Crosby. Absolutely right. But also, I want to take this time and shout out to Uncle Tats and the guys from the Pinstripe Chronicles, because they were talking about this, and I felt it was only right that I continue the conversation. Shout out to the boss, George Steinbrenner. 50 years of owning the Yankees. 50 years. The Steinbrenner family has been in charge of the New York Yankees. So I want to take a quick second and just thank the boss for buying this team. Thank the boss for instilling the passion into Yankee fans that every season we're going to be in it. Every season we are going to compete. Every season I'm going to put a product on the field that most likely will try to get us a World Series. I understand the 80s was a bit tough. I get that. But the 90s, that dynasty in the 90s, beautiful. The Yankees in the late 90s was literally pop culture in America. That's what the Yankees were in the late 90s. That's how important the dynasty Yankees were, right? So shout out to the boss for making all of that happen. Shout out to the Steinbrenner family for still running the Yankees, right? I know nowadays people may have their mixed feelings when it comes to Hal Steinbrenner, and I get that, and I understand that, and it's well warranted because we haven't won since 2009, right? So it is kind of well warranted, right? But Shout out to the boss. Shout out also to the Steinbrenners. And Yankee fans, I'm going to ask you this question. Does George Steinbrenner belong in the Hall of Fame as an owner? I definitely believe so. I definitely think that the boss should be in the Hall of Fame as an owner, right? I understand it's some controversy from the 90s that happened, his investigation and trying to investigate Dave Winfield and everything else. I get that. I understand that. But what this man done for Yankee baseball, for Major League Baseball, buying the Yankees and turning them into a global empire, right? The Yankees are literally a global empire. They may be behind the Cowboys when it comes to value of the franchise, but the reason why the Cowboys are able to manipulate that is that when you buy a share of the Dallas Cowboys, right, you also get part ownership, or you also get revenue coming in from the oil companies that Jerry Jones owned down there in Texas, right? So it's kind of misconstrued. It's like also with Tesla. Back in the days, Tesla, if you brought stock in Tesla, one thing that Tesla was able to do was give you um electric current tax write-off, right? If you brought an electric car from Tesla, or if you brought stock into Tesla, you were able to get stipends that you were able to use as tax write-offs for electric vehicles because you brought stock in Tesla. Nowadays, every electric car company or every car company could do the same thing, so Tesla doesn't have that advantage over people. So it's kind of manipulated, right? But the Yankees have become a global empire. And that has been for one reason and one reason only. The boss. Shout out to the Pinstripe Chronicles. My man, Uncle Tats, what it do? Tats, I was just talking about you and the fellas. I really enjoyed that conversation that you had about George Steinbrenner. So I felt like, you know what? Let me bring the conversation over here, having for a few with the guys in the chat and see what's up. Also, as well, 11:30, I'll put out the link for the open panel. So if anyone wants to jump on the open panel and have a conversation, we could definitely rock out for about like 30 minutes or whatever. But everyone's most is welcome to join the open panel. My man Ruben said, Hector, I personally am fine with how. My only critique is how he gave a little too much to Cashman. You want Cashman to make decisions, but you got to hold them accountable for them. I agree, Ruben. The only issue I had with how, and I would say ownership, the ownership group, it goes back to last offseason, right? And Ruben, let me know what you think about this. Looking at it right now, 50-50 hindsight, the Carlos Correa deal, Yankees not signing him last season, kind of worked out for us, right? But Ruben, check this out. My issue when it comes to how and the ownership group and the front office is I understand we don't have to spend $300 million every season on a payroll. I get that, Ruben, 100%. I 100% get that. I understand that. The only thing that I want to understand and the only thing that I want to be told, Ruben, is last offseason, what was the logic behind bringing in $30 million worth of contract when you have Donaldson, IKF, and Ben Vorkback, right? What was the logic in deciding, you know what, we're going to absorb this 30 million for these three players, right? What's the logic on absorbing that 30 million but not wanting to go an extra 5 million to sign Carlos Correa? That's the only issue I have with the front office, and that's what I would like to be explained to me. The logic behind, you know what, we're not going to sign Carlos Correa because 35 million a season, that's a bit too rich for us, right? But 30 million for those three players that I just mentioned, that was totally fine. I just want to understand the logic behind that decision, Ruben. That's the only issue that I have. But 100% agree with you, Ruben. Infamous New King is in the building. He said Donaldson's best days are behind them. 100%, bro. 100%. I broke it down on the last episode. When it comes to Donaldson and his stats from last season, take away the season that he was injured a couple years ago. I think that it was when he was with Atlanta. Take that injury season away, right? Last season, Donaldson, the least home runs in his career since his rookie year. The least RBIs in his career since his rookie season. The most strikeouts in a season since his rookie season. So Josh Donaldson, his time is behind him. His best days are definitely behind him, and I definitely agree with you, infamous New King. I don't want to harp on the fact to sound like I'm repeating the same thing from Tuesday's episode, but it's just so frustrating thinking about it. But you know what? The Big Japple just told me collective doom and gloom is not going to help the situation. So for the sake of my man, the Big Japple, I'm definitely going to try to be optimistic. I'm definitely not going to try to be the leader of the doom and gloom committee over here this Thursday. TC still says it's called bonehead move by Cashman, trying to be smart and then looking like a J, filling the rest of the word. I definitely agree with you, TC Stills. My man Ruben says facts. I've been on the boat. We should have signed Machado or traded for Arenado when they were available before Correa even became an option. Those two don't miss games and are elite, 100%, bro. And now the rumor mills are going. Everybody's circling the wagon now. Because now that the Mets have missed out on Carlos Correa, a beautiful story is going to emerge. The rumors of a beautiful story, a reunion, if you want to say, with Manny Machado and Buck Showalter. We're going to hear about this all season, about the Mets. They were scorned with Carlos Correa. They missed out on Carlos Correa, but Steve Cohen showed you that he was willing to spend the money. You are definitely going to hear rumors this entire season about Manny Machado possibly joining the Mets in the offseason. I'm putting that out there right now. And if you guys hear it, let it be known that the first person to say that was your guy over here at the Yankees Morning Brew. TC Stills. Listen, come on, bro. That's a fact right there. That's 100% fact without the fax machine. He said Donaldson and Hicks are done. We will all see it. Not sure why the Yankees can't see it. And honestly, TC Stills, hopefully for our sanity, this is all smoke and mirrors, right? This is all smoke and mirrors, right? Hopefully the Yankees front office, they're working behind the scenes, right? They're just laying this out just to lay the groundwork before they strike while the iron's hot, before they strike on a move, before they call it in and they said target acquired, fire, right? Hopefully that's what the front office is doing, because us Yankee fans, we desperately can see that both those players that we just mentioned are both past their prime. The only thing that gives Donaldson the slight chance of still being on this team is the fact that one, $25 million is what he's owed this season. No team is going to want that. And the Yankees do not want to cut him, because if they cut him, they're going to be responsible to spread that $25 million over the next couple of seasons, and they just want to get him off the books, right? And the only thing that keeps Donaldson playing third base is the fact that his glove, he had a solid glove last year. That's the one thing I can say. That's what separates Donaldson from Aaron Hicks, because Aaron Hicks, he sucks from both ends, defensively and offensively, right? Offensively, he can't even hit you a T-ball, right? And defensively, the man runs in the outfield like he's wearing a pair of Timbs that got cement in them, and the both of them. So yeah, the only thing that separates them two is that Donaldson can still play elite defense. Oh, my man, Ivan Manny is in the building. Ivan, what it do, brother? Listen, Ivan, I'm putting the link out at 11:30. So if you want to join the open panel again, my brother, you're most welcome to join the open panel. My man, infamous New King said, hey, are we a strong team regardless? But we got to be more aggressive than opposing teams. Roster construction, only way to build a championship. Listen, when it comes to us, the Yankees, you could bank the AL East. You could bank that, right? You could probably bank the ALCS as well, right? Everything is going to come down to if we could get past the Houston Astros. I'm going to put this back up so people can see it. But infamous New King, everything is going to come down to if we can finally exercise our demons when it comes to the Houston Astros, because that's our test right then and there, right? Next year, if we knock on wood, miraculously win a World Series, but we don't face Houston, I would enjoy it. It will be a nice World Series. But you know what will be sweeter? If we beat Houston in the ALCS and then go to the World Series, right? Because Houston had our number for these past few years. The Houston Astro fans are a very arrogant fan base right now, because they think that they could just walk all over us, right? They from Texas already. They already got how they feel about New York City, right? We can't allow people from Texas to feel like that about New York City. We from New York, baby, right? #1 city in the world, point blank, period. He said, can the Mets afford both Ohtani and Machado? One, the Mets have some money coming off of the books next season. And two, Steve Cohen, he can spend with the best of them. Steve Cohen, if he was willing to spend that much for Carlos Correa, right, and pay that much in luxury taxes, I don't think that he's that scared to pay for both Ohtani and Machado, right? One thing you got to understand when it comes to the baseball, when it comes to the economics in Major League Baseball, right? And I love to break this down, right? Big into numbers and big into looking things up, right? When it comes to the economics in Major League Baseball, right? The national network deal for Major League Baseball to cover all games nationally with every TV coverage and all that TV deal that the MLB network has is literally worth over $3 billion. Tuesday I said $2 billion, but I meant to say $3 billion. It's literally over $3 billion. So what that means, 19 man, is that at the beginning of every season, every major league owner is given a check for $100 million for their team because of that TV deal. You know what that means? That means that the Pittsburgh Pirates, who probably have a payroll of $50 million, if that, or $60 million, if that, at the beginning of the season is giving a check by Major League Baseball to basically pay the entire payroll for the season. That's why franchises like the Pittsburgh Pirates that have a low payroll is bad for the game. That's why franchises like the Oakland A, they have a low payroll, it's bad for the game. Even the Kansas City Royals be trying to spend money, right? If the Kansas City Royals can make $300 million last season on the profits from their stadium in Kansas City, that's just the stadium, not the TV deals, not nothing. That's just the stadium. If the Kansas City Royals can make that much money, there's no reason why the Oakland A's and the Pittsburgh Pirates can't be making the same and spending that same amount of money on the field. Hell, the Pittsburgh Pirates is look what the Philadelphia Phillies are doing. They live in the same state. Why is it that the Phillies can spend all that money, but the Pittsburgh Pirates can't? It's not good for the game. When you have owners who are cheap and don't want to spend the money and just pocketing all the money, it's really not good for the game. Let's see. My man Ivan said the Mets can do anything they want money-wise. They have a $482 million payroll. That's with the penalties and everything. They got $100 million that TV deal money also. Listen, they could definitely do it. My man AI, what it do, baby? The only reason Hicks is on the team still is because Tiger plays golf with. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Jacob Petruzzi, what it do, my guy? 19 comment. LA has been letting money go for a chance at Ohtani. That's what I'm thinking. It's going to come down to the Dodgers and the Mets, right? When you look at the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, when you look at their promotions for the season, they got Shohei Ohtani days up the wazoo. But after the trade deadline, ain't no more Shohei Ohtani days. Ultimately, I think it's going to come down to the Dodgers and the Mets trading for him at the trade deadline. The Dodgers, they have the prospects. That's why the Dodgers, in my opinion, they didn't trade for Brian Reynolds because they're trying to package up all those prospects to get Shohei Ohtani and keep him on the West Coast, right? The thing that's going to hurt the Mets, when you look at the Mets and their prospect pool, they got two big-time prospects, Alvarez, the catcher, and Beatty, the third baseman, infielder, however you want to say it. Those two prospects alone aren't going to get the deal done. They got a first baseman that's a teenager, Royce King, who probably will be a phenomenal player in the future, but we don't know. So you could put those three players into a package when you got Alvarez, Beatty, and then Royce King or Ray King, whatever his name is, right? That's not going to be enough for the Angels to part ways with Shohei Ohtani. But then when you look at the Dodgers, when you look at their farm system, they can literally offer their top 5 prospects, top 6 prospects in their farm system. They got that starting pitching prospect that everybody's trying to get their hand on. So the Dodgers, they have the cachet to make it happen. And it's going to come down to those two, and it's going to come down to who's going to pull the trigger at the trade deadline. And I honestly feel it's going to be the Dodgers because of that pool of prospects that they have. My man Ivan says they should definitely have a salary floor of $100 million for teams like the A's, Pirates, Baltimore. Don't spend. Listen, but even Baltimore, I agree with you with that, Ivan. But even Baltimore, they've been spending this offseason. They signed Adam Frazier to second base. They've been signing players, the Baltimore Orioles, a lot of veteran role players, stoppers. So they have been signing players, and it hasn't been just Rule 5 players. No, it's been veteran players that get above the league minimum. So they have been spending some money. But the teams like the Pirates and the Oakland A's, hell, the Marlins are even spending money, right? So it's bad for the sport of baseball when you have a network deal that's so much money, right? That's valued so high. Every team gets money off of it. And also, Ivan, it's not even talking about revenue sharing, right? When it comes to like the luxury tax and you go over the luxury tax, those penalties that you pay in luxury tax, that's used as revenue sharing for the rest of the league for the teams that are on the bottom. So the Mets, the penalties that they're spending basically goes to the Pittsburgh Pirates to help them out. Basically goes to the Tampa Bay Rays to help them out. But even Tampa Bay, they spend money on their young prospect. It's just bad for the sport of baseball when you have all this money coming in, but then you have owners that are just so greedy that just want to hoard it all. That's why they didn't want to let Steve Cohen buy the Mets. You guys got to understand, if you're going to purchase a professional team, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, if you're going to purchase a professional team in any professional sport league, in order for you to purchase it, you have to have every other owner in that league agree for you to purchase it. Every other owner has to agree. That's why the guy from Dallas, from the Dallas Mavericks, right, wasn't able to buy the Chicago Cubs back in the day. Because he was looked as a maverick. He was looked at too rambunctious, too young. He just want to spend his money, right? Now he on Shark Tank doing his thing. So every other owner has to agree that you are right for the sport, and they have to agree for you to buy the team. Let me go down and look at the other chats while we have. Agreed. Ohtani wants the West Coast. On top of that, he would be a Dodger most likely because he is a free agent after the season, and the Dodgers have reset the tax penalties. That too. The Dodgers not spending money because they want to reset their tax threshold. That's 100% true, Ruben. He said even Tampa Bay, which averages 4,000 fans a game, have a payroll over $100 million. That's what I'm talking about. These cheap billionaires are pocketing that revenue sharing and hurting the game and the fan base that support. Yeah, and that's why when it comes to like, collective bargaining and stuff like that, I'm big into that, right? But something has to change. It makes no sense that if you're a major league player, teams are able to manipulate your service time. I get that, right? But also, it's 6 years that you have to wait before you hit free agency, right? So Aaron Judge, perfect example. They waited till he was 24, 25 years old before he came up. He hit free agency at the age he did. Where's his big payday? He got it for the season that he put out, right? Jacob deGrom, when he got called up by the Mets, the same age. He had to wait to 31 before the Mets even extended him, right? And then he became a free agent after he was injured. So something is going to happen over the next 10 years by the time the next collective bargaining agreement comes up, because now minor league players are getting the chance to vote on if they want to unionize, and they definitely should unionize, right? You got minor league players that if you're taken after the second round, your signing bonus is 30 grand, 40 grand. You're supposed to survive on that for the entire season, 6 months out the year. And you look at the money that they're making, $800 every week, every 2 weeks, $1,600 a month. And that's supposed to hold you down for the entire season. So something is going to happen when it comes to that, right? Hold on, my man Steve Schumann. Steve Schumann is in the building. What it do? He said, remember that at the trade deadline, a team is only paying for Ohtani for 2 months, unless the Angels will allow for a period of time for an extension. That's a big one right there for people to understand. He said Baltimore will be spending from within most likely I think they would start extending their guys. Yep, they have money, but focus on getting a core to build. Yeah, and they definitely have a good core. Right off the back, once that season start, Adley Rushman, it's going to be considered as one of the top 5 catchers in all of baseball. If that young kid continues, he's something special, right? He can turn into what we thought Matt Wieters was going to turn into. Because Matt Wieters, he was highly rated and highly touted coming up throughout the system as well, getting drafted by the Baltimore Orioles. The only thing that happened with Wieters, injuries, and injuries got the best of him. Knees, backs, shoulders, every and he tried to revitalize his career with the St. Louis Cardinals at a backup capacity, splitting time with Yadier Molina, but injuries, it just get the best of you, right? Yo, my bro Pete Simonetti, what it do? Hey, my man, what it do, baby? Salute. My man said DeGrom was a shortstop and later transitioned to becoming a starting pitcher. That's why he came up late. He failed as a shortstop and then gave it up to become. Judge did 3 years at the community college that he was at also, right? But then when you look at Spencer Jones and the Ash was different. Michael Caputs, what it do? Caputi. It's my guy Caputi. Caputs, what it do, baby? The open panel will be starting in a couple of minutes. So guys, beware. I'm gonna put the link into the chat. You guys are welcome to join the open panel. Hold on, I got one more. Hold on. Why not Yanks for Ohtani? JD coming off of the books. We have money to spend. Maybe it's Jacob. It's honestly because I think Ohtani wants to stay on the West Coast. Ohtani travels back and forth from the US to Japan. And when you're on the West Coast, that flight to Japan is already almost an entire day. It's already an entire day. Being on the West Coast, it saves you 9 hours in travel time back to Japan. So that's why he wants to stay on the West Coast. It saves him 9 hours when he wants to go back and forth. So instead of 24 or 30, almost 30 hours on a plane, he's cutting out, saving by 9 hours, right? Let me look up right now, New York City to Japan, NYC to Japan, flight time. All right, so Osaka, it's 18 hours. So it's an 18-hour flight from New York City to Osaka, Japan. Shohei Ohtani is saving 9 hours. So that's literally an 8-hour flight instead of a 17-hour flight. So when it comes down to that, if he has the luxury to choose where he wants to go, it's going to be on the West Coast. It's definitely going to be on the West Coast. I want Murakami so bad. Sasuke, I'm still looking at footage of him, but it looks real good. But Murakami, I really would love to see him in a Yankees uniform, right? I really would love to see him in a Yankees uniform. Did I say community? My fault. Yeah, community college is only 2 years. I've been Fresno State. My fault. I didn't mean community. Did I say community college? My bad. I was binging Community, the TV show Community. But no, 3 years out of community college, you're a super senior if you're 3 years out of community college. But yeah, hold on. Pete's getting ready for his Yankees April Fool's joke. Oh yeah. And make sure if you guys aren't going, make sure you watch out because that link, it will be dropping soon. April 1st, I will be there. Will you be there? Would you be there? I definitely would be there. Michael Caputo, if the Yanks don't get Ohtani on Machado, then we can forget a World Series. Caputo, I think you need a trauma pillow, right? You need a trauma bear. We're gonna go to Build-A-Bear, Caputo, and we are gonna get you a trauma bear so you can have with you. So when you feel frustrated, right, instead of just blurting out the Yankees won't win a World Series ever again and they're a horrible franchise, you could just hug your bear, right? You can hug your Betty Bear. But yeah. Yes, I did. Yeah, but like you said, Ivan, phenomenal hitter. It's all going to depend on what the Yankees want to do. But definitely, Jung Ho Lee does look awesome, and he looks like he's a better fielder than who Boston just got. Forgot his name is just slipping me right now. But guys, I'm going to put the link into the chat for the open panel. You guys are more than welcome to join the open panel. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to put it in there. And I'm going to put it in there right now. Like I always said, please remember the rules. Let's be nice. Let's be courteous to everybody who's on the panel. Let's be respectful to YouTube's terms of service, because the terms of service gods do be watching, right? If somebody is in the middle of a take, allow them to finish before cutting them off and before giving your take. Everybody's going to get a chance. I'm going to throw it around. You guys understand how I throw it around. Throw it around like a hot potato ball. But I'm going to play this little commercial break, and we'll be right back. We will be right back. Tune in. Boom. And we are back. Hold on one sec, because I saw something here. Trauma pillow. But it's my guy. I got him backstage. The one, the only, Caputo, where you go, bro? I was trying to give a warm-up introduction, Caputo, and then you just disappeared from backstage. Caputo, come back backstage, bro. He is a Teddy Ruxpin. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys seen the movie The Christmas Story, but they got a remake that's on HBO Max, and it's really good. It's a tearjerker, I'm not gonna lie. But hold on, you guys got to give me a second. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are here at the Yankees Morning Brew, and I have a special guest I would like to introduce you to, Michael Caputo.
What up?
What's good, baby? Good morning.
There's nobody else backstage? Wow, I thought there'd be more people.
No. I got Eric Wallace back here. EY, can you hear me, bro? It's
yes,
just Eric
sir.
Wallace. Yeah, he keeps his camera off, so the camera doesn't show.
No, it's all good. But I'm just not
yes,
happy with
P. How you doing?
Chilling, baby, chilling. EY, chilling. EY. Capoots, before we start, one thing I want to say is Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New
I
Year.
haven't been able to be with you on the stream
since
the New Year's or whatever. So I just want to say happy New Year. And Caputo, also one thing I want to say, EY, just hold on right there. I got you right there. One thing I want to say, Caputo, is that since I've known you a little bit under a year, right? You've been a good friend to me, right? Yeah. I would consider you a friend. I would consider you somebody that I could have a conversation with. And ultimately, are you a passionate guy? You absolutely are, right? But I get it, Caputo. Just know that I get it. Yeah. And anytime I'm throwing some jibs out there, it's all in good faith and it's good fun. And you know,
I'm joking around. Don't take what I say offensive about the Yankees, because I never went to the level of saying
no, of course. Yeah.
No, I never went to the level of saying that me and you are going to fight. I just get I just take it out on the Yankees, but I've been pretty, good as of late. But this team has to improve, man. We have to. But it's the same exact lineup. I mean, it's the same lineup as last year. But what are we going to do with this lineup?
It is ish, somewhat like last year.
I love the rotation. The rotation is the best rotation in baseball.
I'm in love with the rotation. The big difference between this lineup this year that we have going into this season and last year is that we're going to have a full season from Oswald Peraza, right? We're going to be able to have a full season from Cabrera, right? I understand, when it comes to having the big splash and getting the big ticket item, we didn't get it, but having a full season of Peraza at shortstop, which will be better for the pitching staff because the defense will be a lot better at that position, and having Cabrera to be in left field is an upgrade over Aaron Hicks. We did regress because we lost Andrew Benintendi. That's one thing that I would say. We did regress for losing Andrew Benintendi, but I want to see what the Yankees are going to do with left field. I'm just not sold on the fact that this Yankee team or Brian Cashman is going to rock with who we have in left field for 162 games. I just don't believe it.
Let's hope it's not going to be Aaron Hicks, because if it's going to be Aaron Hicks, then I guess we could all throw a fit, because Aaron Hicks is an absolute dumpster fire. I don't want to see this guy on the team. Get him off the team. Yeah. Put that guy in a package. Freak him, ship him to Abu Dhabi or somewhere. I want that guy gone. Aaron Hicks is a joke.
Yeah, he definitely is a joke. He definitely should go to the Live Golf Tournament where he belongs and just play golf retire and just play golf for the rest of the year, right? But Capoose, I just want you to know, when people are in the chat, right, when they're throwing shots at you, don't pay them no mind.
No, I'm
right?
not.
One thing. No. I know. Well, I know you're not saying anything, but one thing I'm gonna say is that don't feed the trolls, right? If you have people, because that's what it is. A lot of people, they love to troll, and one thing that I've learned is don't feed the trolls, right? Because me personally, if I could, I would like to find everybody's IP address and go to their house and beat them up. Right, that's what I would do, me personally. But Capoose, what I was gonna say is that you're a good guy, right? You're a very passionate fan when it comes to these Yankees. Don't let the trolls get the best.
Yeah, they just, you know what it is? These people don't like me because I'm always negative about the team. But the Yankees haven't won a World Series in 13 years. That's a lifelong wait. I mean, I know other teams haven't won in 30, 40, 50 years, but we're the New York Yankees. We're the greatest franchise in sports history. So we deserve a championship.
Yeah, and that's all we want at the end of the day, right? Yeah. When it comes down to it, all of us Yankee fans, one thing we can't agree on is that we want to see them going down the Canyon of Heroes, right? Yeah. We want to see them have that ticket day parade in New York City where everything is flying, maybe a few rats falling off the buildings, but still, it's still a ticket day parade in New York City, right, Capoose?
I mean, that's what I want. I mean, we haven't got that since 2009. I guess you could say I'm spoiled. I saw 5 championships in my life. So
my man 19 comments said Heck wants to find you in Home Alone. You absolutely, Con man, absolutely. Most Home Alone 2. It's my favorite. Home Alone 2. But Capoose, before we continue, let me bring somebody up to the panel. My man Ivan, what it do, baby?
What it do, guys? How are you?
Chilling. Ivan, before we continue the conversation, what number jersey are you wearing? Whose jersey number are you rocking behind? Let's see. Who you got?
My Jeter 3K, baby.
Hey, that's an expensive one too.
I bought it the day he hit it, or the day after, I should say.
Nice. Where were you when he hit that? When he got that 3,000 hit? Do you remember?
Oh man, sadly I was at home. I wanted to go bad to that game.
Yeah, no, I was at home myself.
I got a treat for you guys. You want to see something cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Hey,
the Mick beautiful. Wearing number 6.
Mickey Mantle.
That's rare. That is a rare photo, bro.
Yeah, legend, man. He's a legend. His number was
man.
Yeah, that was a great.
That's Ivan. And Pete just said it. Ivan the GOAT, 100%. Ivan definitely the GOAT. But
what's up, man?
Caputo, where were you when Jeter got the 3,000 hit? And people in the chat, let us know
where
you were at when he got that 3K.
I was actually watching it on TV. It was 2011, right? Yeah, 2011 when he got his 3,000 hit.
Mm-hmm. Was it 2011 or 2012?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did it off of David Price.
Yeah, off of David Price.
That was a great day, man. That was a great day in Yankee history.
Also,
we need more of them.
We definitely need more of them. We definitely need more of them. It'd probably be when it comes to 700 home runs that Albert Pujols was able to join that club this past season. We probably won't see that for the next 10, 20 years, if that. Because if you look at the players right now, Judge will have to average like 46 home runs a season for the next 9 seasons in order to get up there. I'm not sure if he's going to do that, right? Yeah. Juan Soto, in order for Juan Soto to do it, it's longevity and also when you come into the big leagues, right? So maybe Juan Soto, but he needs to start averaging 40 home run seasons. I'm just not sure if we're ever going to see it.
Yeah,
Vlad Jr. has the talent, but his body type will have him break down before that.
I love Aaron Judge. Don't get me wrong, but there'll never be another Derek Jeter, man. I love Jeter. He was like, I grew up with the guy for 20 years. I mean, I saw 5 championships. I hope Aaron Judge could deliver a championship for this team. But what Jeter has done, I don't think anybody could duplicate what this guy has done. I mean, he's like a legend. I mean, Judge is going to be that, but he's got to win a championship.
Jeter, when I see Jeter, I was at Yankee Stadium when they had the documentary and Jeter was there. It literally looked like that man has an aura, right? People love to talk about Prince and how he had an aura when he walked through certain rooms, but Jeter has a certain aura and swagger that nobody can copy or imitate. You can't imitate Derek Jeter's swagger or aura. Yeah,
it was like Michael Jordan. He was like, I always look at Jeter as like the equivalence to like Michael Jordan, like the baseball version of Jordan. He was very close to like Michael Jordan in that way. He was a winning player. And Aaron Judge, if we could just hit in the postseason and he could deliver, I mean, then we'll look at him as like a legend. I think he's could be a Hall of Famer one day, Aaron Judge.
He got to stay healthy, and let's see what happens over the next 9 seasons. But guys, let's bring it back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the show when it comes to George Steinbrenner and his legacy as being an owner of the Yankees. Ivan, I'll start with you and throw it over to Caputo afterwards. When it comes to George Steinbrenner, yes or no for the Hall of Famer and Hall of Fame, and give us your thoughts on George overall.
George made me be a Yankee fan. I lived through the lean years. I started being a Yankee fan in '84. You know, I mean, he was the only one that was spending money. He was the only one willing to make his team better. He was the reason why Yankee fans have that pride where it's championship or bust, because he wanted to win and he made the fans want to win. And I mean, he knew that he had to put a good product out there every year for us to be hungry. And I lived through those early 90s teams. They were horrible, 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 because he was pushed away from the game with the whole Dave Winfield scandal. And then, you know, that gave Buck Showalter and Sick Michael the time to with him away from them to actually work out a good farm and a good team and get things going. He came back and he saw that we were winning, and he just started throwing money every year after it. And because of the winning and because of those spending sprees is why our fan base has that mentality of go get that guy, go get that guy, go get that guy. Because we want to win, you know, and that's just generally he's the reason why I am a Yankee fan. My old man was a Sox fan, and him and I never got along. You know?
That's hilarious.
I can't say it any other way. You know, he was the best. Hall of Fame. He's the reason why you should be a Yankee fan. You know.
Also, too, and I'll throw it right back to you, Ivan. When it comes to revolutionizing the industry of Major League Baseball, because we as fans, we may love to enjoy the game, but it's also an industry, right? It's also a business, corporate America at the same time.
We root for the laundry.
Exactly revolutionized the game, allowing team. I think the Yankees, if I'm not mistaken, they were the first corporate major league team to bring in a credit card company as a corporate sponsor, or bring in a partnership deal with an airline. I think it was American or Pan Air, whatever the name was at the time. The Yankees did a collaboration with, they did it with Pan Am, and that was because of George Steinbrenner. So being a revolutionary when it comes to the game of baseball and the industry of Major League Baseball as well.
Yeah, it changed everything. His mentality, and unfortunately, his spending habits and that mentality. We had that advantage for years, mixed with the core four, which is just you don't get four prospects come up that are that good at one time. Usually, it's one or two maybe, and then you build around it. We had a dynasty because all those guys came up, and we were spending like that. But the rest of the league is caught up now, and it's hard to keep that momentum going. Yeah, and now it's like kind of a fair game. You know?
But when you look at that blueprint, and Caputo, I'll throw it to you right after this. When you look at the blueprint of the late 90s and of the core four, after the late 90s, every other team tried to imitate that, right? When it comes to growing their own prospects, 4 or 5 heavy prospects and adding pieces around. The Cardinals, perfect example, Pujols, Molina, Wainwright, Spezio, and every other piece that they sprinkled around them, right? The Tigers as well. Every other team tried to imitate what the late 90s Yankees did, but no one can. Caputo, same question going your way when it comes to George Steinbrenner and your thoughts on him going to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, absolute legend. He'll always be remembered forever. I'll never forget those 90s teams and what he did for them. And he used to buy a championship for this team every year. And you always felt confident with this guy as the owner. Every single year, he gave you the best chance to win a World Series. Kind of what Steve Cohen is doing right now. And that's why George Steinbrenner will forever be remembered as a legend, and he definitely should go in the Hall of Fame. And his son can't tie his shoelaces, basically. I mean, Hal Steinbrenner won't ever shine his father's shoes. I mean, he won't even come close. That's why when I look at Hal Steinbrenner, the guy's an absolute disgrace. I mean, spend money like your dad. Look, he has done it with Rodon. I give him credit for that, but we got to do more than Rodon. I mean, they brought Judge back on that big deal. Love it. But George gave you a chance to win every single year. And even if we didn't win, at least he made it fun. He made it exciting. That's what Steve Cohen's doing right now. I wish we had more owners like Cohen and George Steinbrenner, because he gave you the best chance to win a World Series every single year. And you don't see a lot of owners do that. And there's a lot of owners that are billionaires, and they're all cheap. And this guy just spends money endlessly, Cohen, and so did George Steinbrenner. So it's a rare thing that you see nowadays. So it's
Cohen's a fan. He's not just there to make money. He's not a businessman. He's ready to make. He wants to see his team win.
He's not trying to, he's not trying to show off his stock profile like most of these owners are. But before we continue, I had a special guest I want to bring on to the panel. Uncle Tats is in the building. Uncle Tats, what it do?
I heard the conversation going on with George. I had to put the dog back in the cage and come back on.
Listen, I had to credit you guys because you guys were starting the conversation. You guys started the conversation over there on Pinstripe Chronicles. Guys, also, everybody who's watching, if you aren't following Uncle Tats in the Pinstripe Chronicles, what are you doing with your life right now, right? Make sure you follow Uncle Tats. But no, you guys, credit to you guys. You guys started the conversation, and I felt like, let's try to have the conversation over here. And I'm glad that you was able to join Tats.
Well, to be honest with you, I was getting tired of talking about who was playing left field.
Yeah.
So when I thought it was the anniversary of the 50 years that George bought the team, I felt it, only an obligation to give ode to the boss and really get the conversation.
I wish I could see his thing.
What
his thing
he's
is
done
buffering.
to change the game, not just the Yankees.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Tats, what's your thoughts and feelings about him not being in the Hall of Fame yet? I understand the politics behind it, but normally if somebody is controversial, if he's a controversial figure, when they pass away 3 years after or 5 years after, mostly is when they get their flowers and get their respect due to them. It's been 14, 13 years since the boss has passed away and still no Hall of Fame. What's going on with Major League Baseball?
No, I think they're really doing a disservice to the Hall of Fame not having him in. He was the architect of free agency. He was the one that really brought it to the forefront and made it an institution of the game and a very important part of the game on how teams are structured. So it's not just the championships; it's what he's done for the baseball overall. He needs his due. He should have been in the Hall of Fame 14 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because of the controversy where he got suspended 3 times. He got suspended 3 times. Like, come on, that's forgotten about.
That's why they wouldn't let a guy like Mark Cuban in. You were right about that.
The reason one thing people have to understand, a lot of fans don't know this. When I learned it, I was shocked. It was a few years ago that I learned this. If you're going to buy a professional baseball team, every owner in that league has to approve you buying it. Just like Ivan just said, that's why Mark Cuban wasn't approved to buy the Chicago Cubs.
Mark Cuban was paying guys to check stats at the end, refs, and making sure the game was fair and trying to publicly put it out there saying this is what they're doing in basketball. They were like, no, we don't want that in baseball. We don't want that in football. They wouldn't let them buy either.
Yeah, and if you ask me right now, if every other NBA owner, if they knew what would have came out of that, they probably would have denied him buying the Mavericks.
You would have won any team if they knew what he was going to be up to. But Mark Cuban, I actually like Mark Cuban. I think he's a great guy. He's a shrewd businessman. But aren't we all when we scratch the surface down? It's all about what we could do for ourselves and make everybody around us a better person or a better player or a better owner, like you saw with George. He pushed owners to the limit of reinvesting into the teams.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it now, where you're seeing that the free agent pool is starting to kind of minimize a little bit as far as availability to younger players, because owners now are putting their money where they're supposed to and locking up their players.
Yeah, look at Atlanta. Perfect example, bro.
The effect of George Steinbrenner. And there's no other way to cut it.
Do you see what Atlanta has been able to do is ridiculous. Oh, hold on. We got a Pete Simonetti sighting over here. Pete, what it do, baby?
What's going on, fam?
What's up, boss?
Chilling, boss. What's good, my guy?
I actually this is so weird. Like I'm outside. Like this is the weirdest thing in the world. Like I'm not in the studio having a conversation, trying to keep an eye on the cat over here. He was always up to no good. No, I wanted to bring up something when you guys were talking about Steinbrenner real quick. One of the things too that a lot of people never talk about, right, is every time there's a big business owner or somebody, a billionaire, this and that, we also got to, a lot of people give him a bad rap for maybe he did some things wrong and this and that. What about all the salaries he paid? What about all that? What about changing the game in that regard too? He was I read a great article with Brian Sabian, and Sabian basically came out and said, this is the first guy that put coaches in the minor leagues. He did all this stuff. So to even have a conversation about, well, there's some wrong he did, so he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. The man's a Hall of Famer. Baseball wouldn't be baseball without Steinbrenner. It's like saying, baseball wouldn't be baseball without Ruth. Well, there's different aspects of the game. He changed it. So George got to be a Hall of Famer. It has to be.
He was a game changer.
Game changer, big time.
That's why the only word for it is a disservice.
That's what Steve Cohen's doing right now. Steve Cohen is like a George Steinbrenner.
Yeah. With that same type of, and Pete, also to piggyback what you just said, the head of security at Yankee Stadium was a 13-year-old kid, right? That was spray painting outside of Yankee Stadium, and George Steinbrenner went up to him, tapped him on the shoulder, was like, listen, if you want a job, come back to the stadium Tuesday this time, we'll get you on the field. And he's been part of the Yankees organization since he was 13 years old.
Yeah, remember
that needs to be made into a movie.
That's the head of security.
That's got to be a movie.
100%. 100%. But Pete, when it comes to the Hall of Fame for George Steinbrenner, do you ultimately think it's going to happen? Because I definitely feel that it needs to happen.
Yeah, I think it will eventually. I think it will. I mean, again, this is the weird thing about how baseball is at times. It's like they're picky and choosy. Instead of just putting the people in that deserve to be there, they want to pick and choose on certain reasons. But George, like I said, George changed baseball for the best, man. I mean, players gotta love him. I mean, but he did it for players all around. Like you guys said, yeah, you're right. Baseball's a lot more competitive now than it was with George. But George's the initiator of it. He started it. He started it. And again, the little things like minor league coaches wasn't a thing. There was even more to the list. I forgot, but Sabian went over. He was like, George did all these things first when it wasn't something that baseball was doing. So, he provided a ton. And you got to look at the overall body of work instead of picking and choosing. And there's no doubt he's the greatest owner in maybe sports history. Yes. So he's the GOAT.
He revolutionized the industry, bro. Like I was literally talking a little while ago, the way that he revolutionized the industry when major league teams started. He was the first owner to have a corporate partner when it comes to the credit cards, MasterCards, right? He was the first owner to have a corporate deal when it comes to Pan Am and the airlines, right? Having that first little corporate air house and in the stadium. That was George Steinbrenner. And now every major league stadium has some suite that's a Delta suite, American Airlines suite, or whatever it is. Oh, yeah, I've been bringing it back up. Mikey Mazza, the 4 train. What it do, Mazza? Mazza, what it do?
He was revolutionary, man. Revolutionized the game. He changed the game forever, George.
100%.
Everybody loved it.
But guys, let's just throw it around the panel real quick before we dip out because we got a few minutes. And Pete, somebody just said in the chat, Pete's a roving reporter. Pete's a moving reporter.
Pete the roving, damn. Okay. I'm a lot of things. Hey, you know what? I've been called a lot worse, so that's okay with me.
But Pete, bro, let's have this last question before we throw it around.
Yep.
Right now, the Yankees, they're patrolling like they're sharks in the water, waiting for a move to pounce. What do you think is going to happen within these last couple of weeks before we get ready for spring training?
I mean, I think they make a trade of some sort. I mean, they have to, don't they? I mean, there's no way they could just but it does feel like a Yankee thing to do, right? To get us excited about this pitching staff, to get us excited about a lot of things, and they come out there and, hey, Aaron Hicks could play left. Don't worry about it. The shift is gone, so he's going to be a better player. It's a Yankee thing to do, but I do believe that they're working on stuff. I think they'll make a trade. Is it going to be Brian Reynolds? I don't know. Do they do something that makes them better? And again, I just want to, throw this out there because a lot of people want the sexy move, and I get that. We all want the sexy move. But the thing that we've been asking for a very long time from the Yankees is to cut down on the strikeouts. If the Yankees get a guy who has an under 20K percent rate, You can't be upset about it because that is something that we've been wanting and we've been asking. Now, again, Hector, I know you said earlier too, they got a full year of Harrison Bader. They got a full year of Oswaldo Cabrera. They got a full year of Oswald Peraza. Remember too, bases are bigger. Those guys should be stealing more bases. So that's going to add an impact. You put guys that now make contact in that lineup. As long as Judge is healthy, Stanton's healthy, Rizzo's healthy, and they're providing the power, they should be a better offense. Does that mean that the Astros? No. But they should be a better offense. Can they compete with them? Yeah, that pitcher staff is going to compete with anybody. They just got to hit in the right thing. And I think, again, the key is going to be, is DJ LeMahieu healthy? If LeMahieu's healthy, it's a game changer. But how can you really depend on that right now?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Ivan, same question going your way, and then throw it over to Mikey Mazza.
They definitely will make a move of some sort. I can't see them sitting pat. They may be saying it, but that's just, I think it's something that they're throwing out there as leverage against the other teams. You know, they have to make another move. So I'm sure we'll see something. It's going to be a Kepler, maybe a Michael Taylor, maybe that guy from the A's. I forget what his name is. You know,
not Kepler. Please no Kepler.
Yeah. I mean, I felt the same way, but Pete has brought it up many times. He doesn't strike out. I mean, that's it. We need a guy that gets on base that doesn't strike out. We need high average hitters. The difference between us and the Astros is the Astros have a whole bunch of guys that hit for a higher average. Oh, they don't have the power hitters. They have the average hitters, and they get on base.
They got
guys that don't strike out, guys that percentage of rule, law of average. You put the ball in play 9 times out of 10, it may be an out, but it's that one time that it's not going to be an out. So it's the law of average when it comes to that. Mikey Mazza, what's your thought, baby? Mazza, you there? You frozen?
Stay put. They can't stay put. Staying put with Aaron Hicks, that's just not okay. Aaron Hicks cannot be the starting left fielder for 2023. I cannot say that enough. Aaron Hicks is not the starting left fielder. They have to make a move, whether it be a Seth Brown or Michael Taylor. They can't be standing pat.
Oh, Mazza, brother, I apologize, bro. You're frozen. Mazza, refresh and then come right back. But go ahead, Tats. Same thing going your way.
I think that for the first time in a few years, that when you hear a statement from Hal that they're not done, I actually have the confidence that I don't think they're done. I really do think they're going to make another move. They've kind of, with Hal being involved again like he hasn't been, I think gives me as a fan confidence that he's tired of playing second fiddle to to the Astros in the American League. He wants to set the record straight that, look, I'm a Steinbrenner. I'm the gold standard when it comes to baseball and getting to the World Series, and he's going to do that. What the move is, I don't know. Is it going to be the Reynolds trade? I think that's still an option. But you also, Pete's been saying, and I've been kind of following it up with it, is the Diamondbacks are still a play to get some outfield out. So I think that there is still one more move in the works for left field. It's just a matter of Hal taking the time to make sure it's the right move, not just make a move to make a move.
Copy. Capoot, same question going your way. And look, we got Caputo and Pete on the same panel. What is good?
Capoot might be making it. He might be making his return to NY News TV.
We gotta get it. Capoot, listen, you listen. You got a Christmas gift. I told you I was gonna get you the Christmas gift. Here's the Christmas gift. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I think we'll make a move. I mean, I got to be a little more confident with this Hal Steinbrenner. I hope hopefully Reynolds or McCarthy. I mean, I want a real game changer, but those game changers are only Ohtani or Machado, but those guys aren't available right now. Hopefully, maybe at the trading deadline. But from now, I'll take Reynolds. I'll give him an A- if they pull that move off. I'll definitely give him an A-. And if you trade Donaldson, A+.
Listen, you trade Donaldson. I'm giving a fucking apple to the teacher. How about that? Mikey Mazza, I see you back, baby. But Mikey Mazza, you was frozen a little bit, but go ahead, finish your thoughts before we dip out. Mazza, you there, baby?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Sure all right. So I was saying that Yankees standing pat's not going to be. We can't stand pat after what we did by bringing in Rodon and getting Judge back in the fold. We really still have a little bit of work to do, and by proving to Judge that we want to win now means going out and making another move. And Pete said it best: you can't stand pat with who you have now. It's like that can't happen.
Yeah. 100%. But guys, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you for jumping onto the open panel. The boss, Pete Simonetti. This was a welcoming surprise. Definitely love you on the open panel. Tats as well. My man Ivan, Michael Caputo, and Mikey Maz in the 4-Train Express. Appreciate you all. And it's been an awesome time chatting with you guys. And make sure you guys come back next week Thursday.
Copy. Thanks for having us.
Pete, it's your first time on an open panel, so close us out, baby. What's your final words?
Final words is the Yankees got to be batshit crazy if Aaron Hicks is back. That's it.
Well, from his mouth to God's ears, you heard it here first. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. And like always, a peace out.